Welcome to the Senior Techie Podcast. Imagine you're sitting at your desk during a sudden medical emergency. The mortgage is due next week. The hospital is asking for coverage details. And, you have a life insurance policy that could just alleviate all of this financial stress.
Right, but there's a catch.
Exactly. The only problem is that the policy is paperless. It's sitting in some online account, trapped behind a password that literally nobody but you knows.
Oh, it's such a common nightmare.
It really is.
Yeah.
All the preparation in the world is suddenly suspended behind this, digital padlock. We spend decades accumulating assets, responsibilities, and all the paperwork to protect them, but the transition from physical file cabinets to digital accounts has created a massive blind spot for so many of us.
Yeah, and it's a blind spot that often isn't discovered until the absolute worst possible moment. I mean, we all know these vital documents exist somewhere in the digital ether, but knowing they exist and actually being able to hand them to an executor or a spice in a crisis, those are two very different things.
Completely different. So our mission for this discussion is to tackle that blind spot head on. We're going to focus on one specific high-stakes area of your digital life, and that is your insurance paperwork.
A great place to start.
Right. To guide us, we're drawing on a really comprehensive strategy guide for securing digital documents, along with some incredible insights from an upcoming book published by the Senior Techie. It's titled Who Gets Your Passwords? And it will be released in July 2026.
And I just want to establish our approach right from the start here. If you are listening to this and feeling this lingering anxiety that modern technology is moving faster than you can manage, let's just set that aside.
Yeah, take a deep breath.
Exactly. You have successfully navigated decades of complex life events, right? You can absolutely manage this. We are aiming for a simple 20-minute weekend project. We are not asking you to become some sort of cybersecurity expert or, spend 6 months reorganizing your entire life.
No, nobody has time for that. But before we ask you to take any concrete steps with your insurance paperwork, we need to ensure we're all operating with the same vocabulary.
That's crucial, yeah.
And here's why this matters. You, listening right now, might be perfectly comfortable navigating the web, but you might have an 80-year-old spouse or maybe a really stressed family member who just isn't. When the tech industry uses words like portal or encrypted vault, the average person's eyes just glaze over.
Oh, completely. It sounds like science fiction.
Right. So let's frame these concepts using physical, real-world analogies, because these are tools you can use to explain your setup to your family. Let's start with the insurance portal. When a company tells you to log into their portal, it sounds overly complex, but really, a portal is simply a digital front door to a business.
Think of it just like walking through the physical glass doors of a brick-and-mortar insurance agency. 30 years ago, you walked in, you sat at a desk, showed your ID, and asked the agent to pull your file. The portal operates on the exact same logic. You're walking into the agency by typing in the website, and you are showing your ID by entering your username and password. The environment is digital, but the transaction is identical.
I love that. And to get through that digital front door, you need your keys. Which brings us to the password manager. People often envision a password manager as this, invisible, mysterious software running deep in their computer.
Like a hacker in a movie.
Exactly. But I like to reframe it for my own family as a heavy-duty, fireproof filing cabinet sitting right in the home office. Inside that physical cabinet are all the individual keys to your various accounts.
And the mechanism behind that fireproof cabinet is what makes it so powerful. You do not need to memorize the 100 different complex passwords for your bank, your email, or your insurance.
Because who can remember all those?
No one. You only need to remember one strong combination, which is your master password. You turn that one dial on the cabinet, the drawer opens, and the manager automatically hands you the correct key for the specific digital door you are standing in front of.
It's so much better than the alternative.
Oh, vastly superior to writing passwords in a physical notebook. Because, a notebook cannot generate complex, unguessable passwords for you. And honestly, a notebook can be lost or stolen.
Stolen, spilled on with coffee, all of it. Now, the final term we need to translate is the digital document vault, which is sometimes referred to as a secure cloud folder.
Right.
If we stick to the physical analogies, you likely wouldn't keep your original birth certificate or property deed lying out on the kitchen counter. You put it in a safety deposit box at a local bank. Well, a secure cloud folder functions as a safety deposit box located inside a highly secure bank, but this bank just happens to exist on the internet.
And the primary advantage of this internet-based safety deposit box is the lack of physical constraints. I mean, you are not bound by the banking hours of a local branch, and you don't need to physically drive across town.
Which is huge in an emergency.
Exactly. As long as you have the proper credentials to prove your identity, you or your designated executor can access those critical documents from any location.
Okay, so now that we've translated the digital front door, the fireproof filing cabinet, and the safety deposit box, let's move from theory to action. For the listener looking to tackle this weekend project, what is the very first tangible step they need to take regarding their insurance?
The first step is to simply walk through the digital front doors of your insurance providers. Just log into those portals. The task involves 3 specific actions. First, log in. Second, download the actual policy documents in PDF format to your computer. And third, spend 5 minutes verifying that your beneficiary designations are completely up to date.
Oh, let's expand on that beneficiary check, because I will admit my own past negligence here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, a few years ago, I reviewed an old employer-sponsored life insurance policy and realized the named beneficiary was a trust I had legally dissolved over a decade prior.
Wow. Yeah, that happens all the time.
It is just so easy to treat these designations as, set it and forget it paperwork. What is the actual fallout if someone passes away with outdated beneficiaries on their insurance portal?
The fallout is basically a protracted legal quagmire. Many people mistakenly believe that their last will and testament acts as this supreme governing document that overrides everything else.
Right, you think the will has the final say.
But that is legally incorrect. Beneficiary designations on insurance policies and retirement accounts almost always supersede what is written in a will.
Wait, really? Always?
Almost always. If your will states that all your assets should go to your current spouse, but your life insurance portal still lists your ex-spouse from a marriage that ended 20 years ago, well, the insurance company is legally obligated to write the check to the ex-spouse.
Oh my goodness, that is terrifying.
It is. Taking 5 minutes to verify those names while you are logged in prevents your family from spending months in a courtroom trying to sort out conflicting documents.
Wow, okay. That alone makes the 20-minute project worthwhile. But let's address the elephant in the room regarding how families usually handle digital accounts. The sources refer to a pervasive mindset called the kids will figure it out myth.
Yes, I hear this constantly.
Right, I hear it from clients all the time. They assume their adult children are tech savvy, so if a medical crisis happens, the kids will simply call the insurance company, explain the situation, and sort it out.
It is a comforting thought, but it completely misinterprets how corporate security compliance works in the modern era. Let's just imagine a scenario to illustrate this.
Okay.
Take a gentleman we'll call Richard. Richard handles all the finances. He unexpectedly passes away. His son, who is very competent with computers, finds a life insurance bill on Richard's desk.
Seems simple enough so far.
Right, so the son calls the insurance company's customer service line and explains that his father has passed and he needs to know the policy details to help his grieving mother. The representative on the phone is going to politely but firmly refuse to provide any information whatsoever.
And the family usually perceives that as the corporation being difficult or heartless?
They do, but the representative literally has no choice. Because of strict federal privacy laws and liability concerns, the corporate system is designed to act as a solid wall against social engineering.
Which makes sense from a security standpoint.
Exactly. The representative has no way to verify over the phone whether the caller is a grieving son, a distant relative looking for a payout, or just an identity thief. Unless the son already has legal authorization processed through their system, the door remains shut.
Which naturally leads to the son thinking he can bypass the phone representative entirely, right? He goes to the insurance portal online, he knows his dad's email address, and he tries a few common passwords his dad used to use.
Like his dad's favorite sports team.
Yeah, the dog's name, maybe a birth year.
And that introduces a whole new level of disaster. Human error under stress. The son guesses wrong once, he guesses wrong twice. On the third incorrect attempt, the insurance company's automated security protocols flag the activity as a potential cyber attack.
Oh, so they just shut it down.
The account is instantly locked for fraud suspicion. What started as a simple attempt to check a policy amount has now spiraled into a multi-week ordeal requiring notarized letters, death certificates, and endless hold music just to unlock the account.
Hold on, though. This raises a question about the steps we outlined earlier. Let's say Richard was prepared. He put his passwords in a password manager and he shared access with his son.
Okay.
If the son can simply open the password manager, get the correct password, and log into the portal directly, Why did we instruct the listener to take the extra step of downloading the PDFs to their computer? Doesn't downloading the documents seem redundant if the portal holds everything?
It seems redundant until you factor in the chaos of a real medical or family emergency. Navigating someone else's password manager, figuring out which login applies to which portal, and dealing with unfamiliar website layouts.
Oh, true. Every website looks different.
Right. It takes time and mental energy that a family in crisis simply does not have. By taking the time now to download the policy PDFs, you are giving your family immediate, frictionless answers.
Because the file is just right there.
Exactly. They open the file on the computer and immediately see the coverage amounts, the policy numbers, and the direct contact information for the claims department. They bypass the need to interact with any corporate security checkpoints or password prompts during the initial shock of an emergency.
You are essentially giving them the digital equivalent of handing them a piece of paper. The answers are just sitting there waiting for them. So, assuming the listener has completed this step, they have logged in, downloaded the PDFs, and checked their beneficiaries, we run into the next logistical hurdle.
Where to put it all?
Right. Where do we safely store these downloaded files, and how do we protect the portal login information itself?
This is the moment we apply the physical analogies we discussed earlier. You currently hold two distinct types of digital assets. You have the login credentials and the actual policy documents. They serve different purposes and require different storage locations.
Okay, so split them up.
Yes. The credentials, the usernames, and the complex passwords for the insurance portals, those belong inside the password manager. That is your fireproof filing cabinet.
Got it.
The downloaded policy PDFs, which contain your sensitive personal data and coverage details, belong in the secure cloud folder or digital vault. That is your internet safety deposit box.
Separating them and securing them is what prevents a phenomenon the source material refers to as the financial freeze.
Yes, the freeze is brutal.
When someone passes away or enters a long-term care facility, there is often a significant lag time before official documents like a death certificate or a power of attorney are issued by the state. But the world doesn't pause to accommodate that delay.
No, the bills keep coming.
Exactly. The mortgage company still expects a payment on the first of the month. The utility companies still send bills. If an executor cannot locate the policy numbers to trigger a payout, or cannot access the funds needed to maintain the estate, the assets are essentially frozen while the liabilities continue to mount.
And the entire philosophy promoted by the senior techie is structured around making technology work proactively to eliminate that exact anxiety. We never want a security tool to become a barrier for the people you love.
Right. It should help, not hinder.
By placing the login credentials in the password manager and organizing the PDFs in the digital vault right now, you are building a bridge over that chaotic lag time. You ensure the resources are accessible the moment they are needed.
But wait, if I follow this advice perfectly, I might create a new problem. If I generate incredibly complex passwords, lock them inside a top-tier password manager, and secure my PDFs in an encrypted digital vault, haven't I just built an impenetrable fortress?
You have.
So if I am incapacitated by a stroke, or if I pass away, I am the only person who holds the master password to that fireproof cabinet. The vault is sealed, and my family is locked outside.
You have just articulated the central tension of all digital estate planning. If you make your digital life too easy for your family to access, you often make it too easy for bad actors to compromise.
Right, you don't want hackers getting in.
But if you lock it down to military-grade specifications, it becomes utterly useless to your family during a crisis. Resolving this tension brings us to the final and, frankly, the most critical step of your weekend project, which is the handoff.
Because securing your insurance paperwork means nothing if your executor hits a brick wall trying to locate it. We have to empower a trusted person.
Correct. You must establish a pathway for someone you trust to access your password manager and your digital vault when you are no longer able to open them yourself. The software industry recognized this problem, and reputable password managers applications like Bitwarden or 1Password, they've developed a specific mechanism called emergency access.
I want to break down the mechanics of how emergency access actually functions under the hood, because I know many listeners might feel nervous about granting someone total access to their financial life while they are still perfectly healthy.
It's a valid fear, but the mechanism is brilliantly designed to protect you while you are alive and protect your family when you are not.
Yeah.
Within the settings of your password manager, you invite a trusted individual, say your daughter, to be your emergency contact.
Okay.
She accepts the invitation, but she does not get to see your password.
Oh, she doesn't.
No. She merely has a cryptographic key waiting in reserve. If an emergency occurs, she opens her app and requests access to your vault.
So she initiates the process, but the password manager doesn't just instantly hand over all my private data.
It does not. The system acts as a deliberate bottleneck. When you initially set up her permissions, you define a mandatory waiting period. You might choose 48 hours or perhaps 7 days. When your daughter hits the Request Access button, a timer starts counting down.
And do I know the timer is running?
Yes. You immediately receive urgent notifications on your phone and via email. If she's just being overly curious or if the request is a mistake, you simply log in, hit deny, and the request is canceled. Her key remains inactive.
So the delay is the actual security feature. It gives me an absolute veto power over the process.
Exactly. It acts as a dead man switch. If you are incapacitated in the hospital or if you have passed away, you will not respond to those notifications. Once your predefined waiting period expires, say, those 48 hours or 7 days elapse without you pinging the server to stop it, the cryptographic lock automatically releases.
That's amazing.
The system assumes you are unable to respond, and it grants your daughter full access to your fireproof filing cabinet.
It is an incredibly elegant solution. But it relies on one massive assumption, right? The family member has to know that they need to request access in the first place. If I set this up on my computer on a Sunday afternoon, but I never actually tell my daughter how the system works, she won't know to push the button when an emergency hits.
Communication is the bridge between the technology and the reality. This requires creating what we call a digital snapshot. It is a physical map that guides your family through your digital landscape.
And we must clarify what we mean by a physical map, because we are absolutely not suggesting you write your master password on a sticky note and leave it under your keyboard.
Please don't do that.
The sources highlight that writing passwords on loose paper is a massive vulnerability. Cleaners find them, guests see them, or they accidentally get thrown away during a desk cleanout.
Sticky notes defeat the entire purpose of the security we just built. The digital snapshot is a single, organized page of instructions. It does not contain the actual passwords. It contains the directions.
Okay, so what does it look like?
It tells your family where to look and who to talk to. For example, the snapshot would say, "My logins are stored in this specific password manager application. Your sister Jane is the designated emergency contact who has the authority to request access. My estate attorney is John Smith, and his phone number is listed here."
It is literally a map to the map. You place that snapshot in a physical safe, or you file it alongside your traditional paper will, and you tell your family, if something happens to me, find this piece of paper. It will tell you the sequence of steps to take. It removes the burden of guesswork from a family that is already dealing with grief and stress. Now, we focused heavily on insurance paperwork in our discussion to give you a concrete, manageable goal. But securing your insurance policies is merely the foundation of a much broader project.
Insurance is the perfect starting point because the financial stakes are so immediately obvious. But this framework applies to your entire digital footprint.
And this is where we zoom out and refer to the upcoming book, Who Gets Your Passwords, arriving in July 2026. The concepts we applied to insurance are the exact same concepts you will eventually apply to the rest of your digital estate.
The book expands this weekend project into a comprehensive life strategy. Think about the assets that hold sentimental value rather than financial value.
Oh, like photos.
Right. Consider a lifetime of family photos, videos, and scanned genealogical records locked entirely in an iPad. If nobody knows the passcode to that device or the password to the cloud account backing it up, those family memories can be permanently wiped by corporate inactivity policies.
Which is heart-bolting.
We also have to address the emotional weight of social media memorialization. Families need to know how to interact with Facebook or Instagram to legally freeze a profile and turn it into a memorial, rather than letting it linger as an active account that might be hacked.
There are also the non-traditional financial platforms that often slip through the cracks of traditional estate planning. An older estate attorney might know exactly how to handle a brick-and-mortar bank account, but they might completely overlook the digital payment apps.
Apps like PayPal, Venmo, or Apple Cash operate outside the traditional banking ecosystem. A person might have hundreds or even thousands of dollars sitting in a Venmo balance from splitting dinners or selling items online.
And there's no paper trail for that.
Exactly. Because those platforms don't send physical monthly statements in the mail, an executor might never realize the account exists. The money simply sits in a corporate server indefinitely. The tools we discussed, putting the credentials in the password manager and noting the account in your digital snapshot, are how you ensure those hidden assets are recovered.
It can feel like a staggering amount of invisible infrastructure to manage. But the reassurance I want to offer is this. The learning curve only happens once. Once you understand how to place your insurance logins into a password manager, you already know how to secure your Venmo account, your email, and your photo storage.
You got the tools.
Exactly. You've built the foundation. You are simply applying the same tools to different areas of your digital life.
As we conclude the discussion, there is one final critical warning drawn from the source material that everyone needs to hear. It involves a mistake that executors make constantly with the absolute best of intentions, and it revolves around phone numbers.
Oh, this is so important. When someone passes away, the family goes into administrative mode. They start looking for subscriptions to cancel, memberships to pause, and bills to eliminate to preserve the estate's funds.
Very practical.
Right. One of the very first things a pragmatic executor will do is call the cellular provider and cancel the deceased person's cell phone plan. I mean, why keep paying $60 a month for a phone that nobody is actively using?
From a traditional budgeting perspective, it's the smart move. But from a digital security perspective, it's a catastrophic error. We have to look at how modern authentication works. Your insurance portals, your bank accounts, and your password manager likely use two-factor authentication.
Right, the extra layer of security.
When you type in your password, the system requires a second layer of proof to confirm it's really you.
They usually send a 6-digit security code in a text message to your phone.
Exactly. They beam that code to that specific registered cellular number. If the executor has canceled the cell phone plan to save a few dollars, that phone number is disconnected. The text messages bounce back to the bank or the insurance portal.
Oh, wow.
The family has a password, they have the username, but without the ability to receive that text message, they cannot cross the final security checkpoint. By trying to be financially responsible, the family accidentally builds an impenetrable wall between themselves and the digital estate.
They lock themselves out of the very assets they are trying to manage. The takeaway here is profound. Treat your cell phone number as a vital piece of your physical estate. Keep that phone plan active and keep the phone charged until every single digital account has been accessed, funds transferred, and the accounts formally closed.
Your phone number is the skeleton key to your digital life. Protect it fiercely.
This podcast was brought to you by The Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to receive their free newsletters, you can subscribe at subscribe.theseniortechie.com.